She asked for a no-contact weekend to find herself. She came back wearing a necklace I didn't buy, so I packed her things, changed the locks, and let her heal alone. Hey Reddit. My name is Henry, and I'm 34 years old. Up until just a couple of months ago, I was engaged to Lily, who's 30. We had been together for 3 years, engaged for the last 6 months, and had already started planning our wedding for the upcoming spring. It was supposed to be a simple beach ceremony. Close friends, nothing flashy. That's what we both claimed to want. At least that's what I thought we wanted. Lily was a freelance designer. Her life was this loose collection of deadlines, early morning yoga classes, meditation sessions, and lately, a lot of self-discovery books and herbal teas. She believed in chakra alignment and energy healing, and while I never really bought into any of it, I also never mocked her for it. I respected that she had things that made her feel centered, even if those things sounded like buzzwords from a wellness retreat brochure. Everyone needs their own version of balance, right? So when she suggested what she called a soul reset weekend, I didn't flinch. Her plan was simple. No phones, no texts, no contact whatsoever for 72 hours. We'd still be living in the same city, but we'd be taking that time separately. A full disconnect to reconnect. Sounded like something she read between pages of a Moonlight Intention ritual book, but I wasn't threatened by it. We'd been arguing a bit lately. Mostly small things, and planning a wedding can be more stressful than people admit. So I figured, sure, what's the harm? I stayed home that weekend, took a hike, made real meals, played my guitar again after weeks of neglect. I even picked up a book I'd been meaning to finish for months. It was quiet, peaceful, and honestly kind of nice. Kept my word. No texting, no peeking at her social media. I let the silence be what it was supposed to be, restorative. Then came Monday morning. I was brewing coffee when the front door opened. No knock, no warning. Lily walked in with a smile, like she'd just returned from a spa. She gave me a long hug and asked how my weekend went. I said peaceful. She said hers was transformative. That was her word, transformative. But then I noticed it. A thin silver necklace around her neck. I'd never seen it before, and we lived together. So I noticed that kind of thing. It was simple, subtle. A small charm dangling from the chain. Still not her style. I asked, "New necklace?" She paused. Just a beat too long, barely noticeable. But my gut caught it. She said, "Oh yeah. I picked it up at a little place during my meditation retreat. Thought it was cute." I didn't press her. Just nodded and sipped my coffee. But something in me shifted. That night, while she claimed she was emotionally exhausted and went to bed early, I checked Instagram. I wasn't looking to catch her in anything. At least that's what I told myself. But curiosity got me. I checked stories. Nothing on her page. But then I noticed someone had tagged her. It was a group photo. 6 people standing in front of a cabin, arms around each other. A bonfire glowing in the background. And there she was, Lily, front and center, smiling, wine glass in hand. A guy's arm resting casually around her shoulders. That same necklace glinting in the firelight. The caption said, "Amazing weekend with this beautiful soul." No tags. No talk of meditation retreats. Just wine, laughing, and a man touching her like he'd done it before. I didn't confront her right away. I needed to be sure of what I was seeing. But inside I knew. This wasn't about healing or disconnecting. This was a test. A test of how far she could push while wearing the mask of self-care. The next morning, Lily left early for a client meeting. I didn't ask where. Didn't even say goodbye. I just waited for the sound of the door locking behind her. And then I got to work. I pulled out a few empty boxes and started packing her things. Not out of rage, but with a clear sense of purpose. Her clothes, her art supplies, her favorite teas, her phone charger. I didn't smash anything. Didn't leave angry notes. I was respectful, efficient. I was done. I changed the smart lock code, stacked her boxes neatly by the front door, then sent one message. Saw the story. Your things are outside. I'll mail the rest. Don't come back. 10 minutes later, my phone lit up. Then again. And again. The first message was, It's not what it looked like. Then came, I can explain. And then, you're blowing this out of proportion. By noon, I'd received half a novel's worth of excuses and emotional rationalizations. She said it was just a moment, that nothing physical happened, that she needed space and this guy was just a friend who understood her, that she didn't sleep with anyone, not that it should matter anyway, but it did matter, not because of physical betrayal, but because of what she'd done behind my back while hiding it behind wellness speak. The part that stuck with me most was that she lied about the necklace. She said she bought it at a gift shop during a meditation retreat, but she was never at a retreat. She was at a cabin, drinking wine, sitting close to a man who wasn't me. It wasn't just the weekend. It was the pretense, the performance, the disrespect. 2 days later, she showed up unannounced. She looked tired, red eyes, forced smile, but her makeup was flawless. She tried to apologize, said it was a stupid weekend flirtation, said she was searching for something, that she didn't mean to hurt me. I asked, why lie? She didn't have a real answer. She said, because I knew you'd react like this. And just like that, I knew I was done. To her, my reaction was the problem. Not her decision to disappear for 72 hours with a man I'd never met, then come back wearing his necklace. Later that night, she sent another long text, this time claiming that I'd always been too calm, that I made her feel invisible, that I didn't fight for her. And for a second, I felt a twinge of guilt. But then I remembered what she called calm was stability. What she called invisible was trust. What she wanted was tension, drama, something to prove that love meant passion. But I'm not a character in a romance novel. I don't need screaming matches to feel loved. I don't need to be dragged through chaos to prove I care. What I need is honesty, partnership, peace. And Lily was never going to be that. A week later, screenshots from a mutual friend landed in my inbox. DMs between her and that guy, dated weeks before the weekend ever happened. Late-night messages, inside jokes, talk about finally getting away. It wasn't impulsive. It was planned. And with that, the last thread snapped. Now it's been 2 months. The apartment is quieter, but feels lighter. I hike. I read. I journal. I play my guitar. Some days I miss the idea of her, but never the reality. She still posts online, still shares quotes about healing and inner light. And that's fine. Let her curate her image. I'm not here to argue with anyone's feed, because real peace, it doesn't need an audience. It doesn't come from no-contact weekends with hidden motives. It comes from knowing that when someone showed you who they really were, you believed them, and you walked away without burning down your own soul in the process. I didn't chase closure because I finally realized I didn't need it. The moment I shut that door behind her, both physically and emotionally, I knew I was reclaiming something far greater than just my apartment. I was reclaiming my peace. There was no need to sift through her half-truths or decode her vague Instagram stories about finding light and healing through loss. The truth wasn't hidden between the lines. It was written boldly in her actions. She didn't choose growth that weekend. She chose deceit, cloaked in spiritual jargon, thinking it would shield her from accountability. And when the dust settled, it wasn't her pain I thought about. It was the relief that came with no longer having to shrink myself to fit a narrative that never respected my stillness, my stability, my loyalty. I didn't slam the door in anger. I closed it quietly so I could hear my own breathing again. As the days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, I rebuilt my life not with grand gestures but with intentional choices. I got back into playing guitar, started hiking trails I'd never tried before, even took a weekend trip on my own. No soul reset, just me, my thoughts, and the freedom of knowing I didn't have to apologize for wanting something steady, honest, and real. I realized that the right kind of peace doesn't ask you to walk on eggshells or doubt your own worth. It just exists with you, beside you, unbothered and uncomplicated. People like her confuse chaos with passion, drama with depth, and think a bonfire and a stolen necklace can rewrite the commitments they've undermined. But I knew better now. The greatest gift I gave myself was not seeking revenge. It was choosing silence over justification. I didn't need to prove anything to anyone anymore. So that's how it ended, not with screaming, not with a final cry for closure, but with a quiet unraveling of everything we pretended was strong. She still posts about her journey, her healing, her moonlight rituals and feminine energy. But me, I don't post much. I live. I breathe easy. I sleep peacefully. I don't need to watch her spiral or wait for karma to arrive. The truth was enough. I found myself where she lost me. In the calm, the ordinary, the underrated beauty of someone who won't trade trust for a temporary thrill. And if that makes me emotionally dull in her eyes, so be it. Because somewhere out there, someone is longing for exactly what I offer. Until then, I'll keep growing quietly, living honestly, and leaving doors closed that should never have been reopened. If you made it this far, hit that like button, subscribe for more stories, and remember, real growth doesn't come with someone else's necklace around your neck.